Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the fascinating and, yeah, kind of intimidating world of virology. We're looking at the biological mechanics behind some of our biggest global health threats, emerging viral diseases. These microscopic shapeshifters have literally shaped our history, and they're definitely shaping our present. But hey, we're not just here to doom scroll the problems. We're going to break down the actual science and see exactly how researchers are building this massive, evolving global defense system. So let's kick things off with the million-dollar question. What exactly turns a quiet, under-the-radar animal virus into a full-blown global public health crisis? It's literally what epidemiologists are trying to figure out every single day. We're dealing with invisible adversaries here. But, by understanding their evolution, how they transmit, and their underlying biology, we can basically strip away that anxiety of the unknown. We're going to see how these viruses actually operate and, spoiler alert, how modern science empowers us to fight back. Right, to set the stage, we really need to nail down what makes a viral disease emerging, because we aren't just talking about brand new viruses popping out of nowhere. An emerging viral disease is either newly identified in humans, or, and this is key, it's a virus that's been around for a while but is suddenly rapidly increasing in how fast it spreads or how severe it is. The reason these are such massive global threats basically boils down to two things: a complete lack of pre-existing human immunity and insanely high transmission rates. Looking at this rogues gallery of major threats, the sheer diversity is kind of wild. I mean, they all operate so differently. You've got COVID-19, caused by SARS-CoV-2, hijacking the air via respiratory droplets to trigger a massive pandemic. Then there's Ebola, causing severe hemorrhagic fever through bodily fluids. Zika, that one hitches a ride on the Aedes mosquito, while Nipah jumps from bats and pigs. Bird flu obviously originates in avian populations, and hantavirus gets around via rodents. The big takeaway? These threats are coming from literally everywhere: the air we breathe, the insects buzzing around, and the wildlife in our own backyards. And the damage these diseases inflict? It goes way beyond just physical symptoms, triggering this really dangerous domino effect. A highly transmissible virus rapidly sparks epidemics and pandemics, right? That leads to high mortality rates, which then cascades into massive economic disruption. Suddenly, our healthcare systems are stretched past the breaking point, and ultimately, you're looking at severe social instability. It's crazy how fast a purely biological event just morphs into a full-scale societal crisis. Section 2. The drivers. Why viruses are emerging right now. Okay, so we know the threats and their impacts, but what is actually driving them right now? Well, it's basically a perfect storm. Viruses, especially RNA viruses, are incredibly sloppy copiers. They naturally mutate at a breakneck pace to create new variants. But human behavior, that's what really throws gas on the fire. Deforestation is pushing us right up against wildlife, leading to zoonotic spillover, where a virus jumps from an animal into a human. Add in urbanization packing us into super-dense cities, globalization that can move a pathogen across the world in hours, and climate change actively expanding the habitats of mosquitoes. It's a literal recipe for constant viral emergence. So how does that perfect storm actually spark an outbreak? Well, most of these emerging diseases are zoonotic, meaning they spill over from natural animal reservoirs. Think of it as a chain reaction. Step 1, the virus is just hanging out, living quietly in an animal reservoir, very often bats or birds. Step 2, the virus jumps to an intermediate host, maybe a pig, where it gets the chance to mutate or multiply. And then, step 3, it finally makes that critical jump to a human. Figuring out this exact chain of events is how epidemiologists know exactly where to cut the link and stop an outbreak in its tracks. Section 3. The mechanics. Pathogen spread and viral success. To effectively fight back, we really have to understand their tactics. And these viruses, they are incredibly opportunistic when it comes to jumping between hosts. They might use direct contact, like bodily fluids or an animal bite. Or they go airborne via respiratory droplets, which, as we all know, is notoriously tough to contain. Then you have vector-borne transmission, where they use carriers like mosquitoes or ticks as biological taxis. They can even spread silently by contaminating our food and water supplies. They are literally using our own environment against us. But why do these specific bugs succeed when so many others fail? It really comes down to their biological shape-shifting abilities. Emerging viruses, particularly the RNA ones, have off-the-charts mutation rates. They can literally remix their genetic material to adapt on the fly. Plus, they usually have a broad host range, so they aren't super picky about what species they infect. Combine that flexibility with crazy fast replication cycles and a built-in knack for dodging the human immune system, and yeah, you've got a pathogen that is basically engineered to emerge. Which naturally leads to this big question. With viruses constantly mutating and global borders wide open, how do we actually stop the next outbreak? This is a huge turning point for us in this explainer, because now we get to shift away from the doom and gloom of the problem and look at the incredibly empowering, highly effective science we use to fight back. Section 4. The Arsenal. Fighting back with science. Good news is, our global public health systems haven't just been sitting around waiting. The absolute first step in this defense is knowing exactly what we are dealing with, and diagnosis relies on two main pillars. First up, molecular techniques, things like PCR, RT-PCR, and next-generation sequencing. These tools go incredibly deep, mapping out the actual viral genetics. Second, we have immunological tests, like ELISA and rapid antigen tests. Instead of hunting for the virus's genetic code, these tests are checking for the body's reaction, quickly detecting antibodies or specific viral proteins. Working together, these two pillars give us unbelievable speed and pinpoint accuracy. The second a threat pops up on the radar, we roll out a massive, multi-layered defense system. We're talking everything from highly advanced medical breakthroughs like mRNA, viral vector, and inactivated vaccines, all the way down to basic hygiene and sanitation, like safe water practices and washing your hands. We also lean heavily on active surveillance systems for genomic monitoring, environmental vector control to keep mosquito populations in check, and, when absolutely necessary, strict quarantine and isolation protocols to just slam the brakes on the spread. Now, modern biotechnology, that is both our early warning radar and our heavy artillery. Rapid genome sequencing lets scientists read a virus's entire blueprint in literally a matter of days. That data directly fuels lightning-fast vaccine development, which we obviously saw in action with mRNA tech, but we're also deploying some truly sci-fi tools like CRISPR-based viral detection, biosensors for instant diagnosis, and advanced bioinformatics. We are churning through massive data sets to literally predict where a viral outbreak might pop up next. Section 5. The Future and the One Health Solution. Looking ahead, experts across the board have come to one pretty sobering realization. Human medicine alone is not going to sustainably prevent the next global pandemic. We absolutely have to adopt the One Health approach. It's this philosophy that tightly integrates three equal, overlapping pieces: human health, animal health, and environmental health. The premise is super simple but incredibly profound. You simply cannot have healthy humans if the animals around us are sick, and you can't have healthy animals if their environment is collapsing. It's one single interconnected web. To protect one, we have to protect all three. Guided by that One Health philosophy, our future defense strategy is all about going on the offensive. We are done just reacting. Scientists are actively engineering universal vaccines right now that could neutralize entire viral families before a specific variant even emerges. We're rolling out AI-based prediction systems and building portable molecular diagnostic labs that you can carry into the deepest jungles. Pair all of that with advanced antiviral drugs and a truly global genomic surveillance network, and we are, quite literally, building a global immune system. And that brings us to our final thought for today. We've looked at the drivers, the mechanics, and the incredible scientific arsenal we've built, but the biggest lesson from emerging viral diseases is really this profound interconnectedness. So I'll leave you with this. If our human health is permanently biologically linked to the animals and the environments around us, what changes do we need to make today to stop tomorrow's silent spillover? Securing our future really does rely entirely on respecting that fragile web. Thanks for hanging out for this explainer. Keep asking those big questions, and we'll see you next time.